Today we will be covering how to create animated spreadsheets inside of Photoshop and then how to bring it into Unity Game Engine. The first thing you will want to do is to create a new document. The size doesn't matter, as for the sprite sheet will determine the size of the outputted document based off of your your sprite images. So the first thing you want to do is change it from Essentials to Motion. So that way you will get this bar right here for creating your timeline. Click on either of the pluses and you'll be able to bring in your images. These are just some images that I created inside of Max. You can also create them inside of Houdini, which is a effects game engine. You can also create them inside of Maya, Mudbox, ZBrush. You can also create them inside of Photoshop and Illustrator, GIMP, Painter. It doesn't matter what you use. All that matters is that they are a sequence of images, all with an extension of numerical values at the end, like I have here. So let's bring them in. First thing you want to do is convert it to frames from clips. Once that is done, you'll see that they're fairly small. That is because you're converting something that is in real time, which is 30 frames per second, from a thing that is at a minute, which is 60 seconds, so 60 times 30. I'll let you do the math. Let's select the 2 frames that are unnecessary. We don't need empty frames in our spreadsheet. Select all of our remaining and click on no delay. Once that has been done, we can continue. Click on forever so you can preview your loop. As you can see, it's looking nice, but it's ridiculously fast. So when you bring it into the Unity game engine or Unreal, they will slow it down, as for spreadsheets run at a different rate than that of real time. It should be somewhere, I'd say roughly a third of the speed at least. You can slow it down even further using animation inside of it and keyframing, but for us we don't need to make it ridiculously slow. So for this we don't need to do anything else. So let's go File, actually before that we need to make the spreadsheet. So we just go Scripts, Spreadsheet, and it will bring this up. You can get the spreadsheet from Google. When I found it, I just Googled spreadsheet generator Photoshop. Any spreadsheet generator will work. It doesn't matter if it's CS2, CS6, CS4. The one I'm using is from CS4 and it works fine in CC. So let's just run it. Wait for it. You can tell it's doing its process over here. Once it's done, you can just zoom out using Control- on PC or Command- on Mac. And as you can tell, it's a 3x4 grid, and this will all work fine. As for it's not white, it's transparent when we export. Now let's just bring it out, save for web, make sure it's smaller. You don't need to be bogging down the game engine. So it's PNG24, just what we want. You want to make sure transparency is checked. As for, we need that for our map. So save it out. I already have a name, so since I did this once before, now we have a 2 on the end. You want to make sure you have a numerical value on the end. As for, you might have to go back, make some changes. Maybe the cell size is not working, so you might need to crop or extend out your sprites a little bit to fit the cell size of the game engine. You might need to change the levels because you're unlocking the color, it isn't behaving right with the lights in the engine. There could be any number of issues that might arise in the sprite, so you might need to bring it back a couple times. So instead of having to rename it every time, it's good to just keep a good habit with always having a numerical extension on the end of all of your projects and assets. So we save it out, wait for it. Alright, it's all done. Now let's hop over to Unity. Once inside, let's bring it in, import new asset. That's something else I was working on. Let's go desktop, Sprite, bring it in, the one we just created. Now, just a little tip, if you're working with anything that is having an alpha channel, you want to have the alpha as transparent if it's a texture map, but for us we don't worry about that because we're working with sprites. You want to make sure your sprite mode is set to multiple, as for we have more than one sprite. Hit apply, and then open up your sprite editor, go under slice, grid by cell count, and we are working with a 3x4 grid, and it sliced it all nice and perfect for us. Hit apply. That does not always work, but I'm glad it did. Let's go under animation, Lava Annie. There we go. Now, let's size you up for the camera. Alright, there should be fine. Let's move our camera back so we can see the animation. And they're nowhere near each other. So, let's get you even bigger so you can see. Now, let's move this so you can be seen in the viewport. And as you can see, it's right here. So, when we hit play, you can see that it has its animation moving and it's working. And that is how you create an animated spreadsheet inside of Photoshop and how you bring the animated spreadsheet into Unity. If you have any questions, just send me an email or leave comments below. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone thinks. Thank you.